destruction, it is a grave affront to the rules-based international order. Excellencies, our presence here underscores our consensus that the time for action is now. The lives of millions depends on our ability to navigate this complex and challenging situation with wisdom, clarity of mind, empathy for the millions whose lives and livelihoods have been plunged into uncertainty, concerns for DRC's lost opportunity to accelerate its growth and development, and a steadfast commitment to peace and justice.
C'est le sommet en direct.
A terrible yet indisputable act is that
SADC,
the humanitarian cost
EAC,
of the conflict in the DRC has been staggering.
La communauté
Millions
EAC,
of
c'est la
civilians
communauté des États
have been
de
displaced
l'Afrique
and
de
many
l'Est,
lives under the
dont la
persistent
RDC
threat of
fait
violence,
partie, mais
including sexual and gender-based
officieusement,
violence against women and
la
children,
RDC n'est plus
and
membre.
the recruitment of children to take part in combat.
C'est en anglais.
We have a historic opportunity to rise to our moral duty of making the protection of civilians our foremost priority and of taking measures to ensure that the necessary resources and support
Une
are
opportunité
provided.
historique de
For many
protéger
well-known reasons, the
la vie des
situation in
civils de sa
DRC
critique.
implicates the broader global
La
community.
République démocratique
Therefore,
du Congo
we
est
call upon the
représentée par
international community to step up and do its part in supporting regional
la
efforts
première
in
ministre,
delivering for the DRC
et le
and
président
critically
Félix
collaborating with
Tshisekedi
the government of the
participe
DRC to deliver
par
support and security
visioconférence.
to those most in need. It is clear that the conflict in DRC is complex, delicate, protracted, and involves
Le conflit en
multiple
RDC
actors
est
pursuing
complexe et
different
délicat.
interests. The issues at stake span a wide historical, economic, and
C'est le
political
président
spectrum
Ruto du Kenya
run
qui
back
parle.
in time for many decades and spill across national and regional borders.
C'est un pro-Rwanda.
There is also a clandestine
Je ne
international
détaille pas, vous
dimension
connaissez
at work, whose persistent,
cette
cynical,
histoire
and
des
destructive
Kenyans qui
effects
étaient arrivés à
must
Kinshasa
neither
et
be
qui ont
underestimated
soutenu le
or
M23,
ignored any longer.
RDF.
For this reason, it is equally clear that such a conflict cannot be resolved through military means. We must
Il dit que ce
resist the
conflit ne
temptation
peut pas être
to think that
résolu
we can
par des moyens
somehow
militaires.
or bombard our way into a solution in the face of such a complex situation. Instead, we have to agree that only a comprehensive diplomatic approach, one that addresses the root causes of the crisis,
Pour lui, c'est
secures
seulement
the historical
une approche
integrity
diplomatique qui
and
peut
territorial integrity of
faire partie des
DRC
solutions.
and affirms the sovereignty of its people and their aspirations for freedom, justice, and development. That is what will establish peace and enduring peace at that in DRC. Such an approach must also bring together multiple stakeholders, regional states, international bodies, political organizations, civil society groups, and the Congolese government itself to dialogue and collaborate in order to explore, develop, and implement a lasting solution.
Il demande
Excellencies, I am confident that you agree
au
with me
gouvernement
that
congolais
dialogue
de
is
dialoguer.
not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to our collective wisdom and strength, both as leaders and as communities. It shows our capacity to articulate issues patiently and clearly, listen to each other, consult comprehensively with a common goal in mind, and negotiate patiently until we reach a better outcome than the bitter results.
Nous devons nous
of blood.
consulter avec beaucoup de patience
It is in this spirit
jusqu'à ce que nous arrivions
that we
à la
must
solution.
encourage all parties to put aside their differences and mobilize for engagement in constructive dialogue
On doit
aimed at
encourager
achieving
toutes les parties
the
à mettre
sustainable solution
de côté
of
leurs
conflict
divergences
by peacefully addressing all underlying issues.
Le président participe
I
par
believe
visioconférence.
that we have a singular opportunity
Je ne
to
traduirai
build
pas tout.
on the gains and lessons
traduirai,
of Rwanda and Nairobi
les
peace
termes
processes.
Plus
We
importants.
have a historic opportunity as the broader neighborhood of the DRC to mobilize our collective will into a fused, single, and coherent initiative towards the resolution of this complex crisis.
Nous avons une
Such an approach
opportunité
will bring all
historique
our assets
en
to
tant
bear
que
and
des
minimize
frères
the possibility
voisins
of parallel initiatives
de trouver
that
une
duplicate
solution.
and undermine progress, including creating unnecessary competition as we strive for peace. My dear brothers and sisters, this calls for our unwavering political support. I therefore urge Your Excellencies at this extraordinary joint summit to deploy our best effort and muster our total commitment to facilitate a sustainable settlement that lays the foundation for a stable and prosperous democratic Republic of Congo. I dare say, Excellencies,
En résumé,
the situation may be complex,
pour lui,
it may be
ça
protracted,
c'est une occasion historique à
it may
ne
have been with
pas
us for
rater.
years, but
Il
I
n'y aura pas de
believe
solution militaire
the situation in the
à cette
DRC
guerre. Pour lui,
can be solved, should be solved, and must be solved.
on doit trouver une
this
solution
reason,
et ça doit être
it may
trouvé
also
cette
be prudent
solution-là.
For the consolidated single EAC SADC initiative on this matter to be supported by a strong secretariat that can provide the necessary coordination,
Je rappelle
monitoring,
que
and enforcement to
Le
ensure
président Félix
effective
Tshisekedi comprend
implementation
l'anglais.
of
Il parle
outcomes.
même un peu. Je l'ai entendu
The
parler avec
international
un
community
président.
must stand in solidarity with the people of DRC during this time by aligning their support with this initiative.
Ce monsieur est un
I
hypocrite.
conclude,
Il
Excellencies,
soutient le
by
Rwanda.
affirming our robust commitment to achieving sustainable peace and development and integration across the region. The security of DRC is essential not only for the stability of the country, but also to the prosperity and cohesion of the entire EAC and SADC. We
La
call upon all
sécurité
parties
de
to
la
prioritize dialogue,
RDC
cooperation,
est
and above
essentielle.
all, the protection of civilian lives. I thank you once again for being able to be here on this
Je
very
vous remercie
important
encore
mission.
beaucoup d'avoir été
It
ici
is an
présent
historic mission because for the first time,
à cette
two regional economic
mission
blocs
historique.
come together as a testament of the seriousness of the challenge we face,
Ce sera notre
but
testament.
also underscoring our commitment to provide leadership to resolve this issue. Thank you very much. May the Almighty God bless all of you
Merci beaucoup. Que Dieu vous
and
bénisse
bless
vous tous.
our region. Asanteni sana.
Et
Merci
notre
beaucoup.
région.
Mayor Bigato. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency,
Merci,
Dr.
Excellence.
William Samuel Ruto,
William
CGA,
Samuel Ruto,
President of the Republic of Kenya
président du
and
Kenya.
Chairperson of the East African Community. We're now going to have another statement from His Excellency Dr. Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, who is co-chair to this meeting and chairperson of the Southern African Development Community. Your Excellency, you may proceed to deliver your remarks. Thank you.
Maintenant, c'est le président du Zimbabwe qui va parler, le président Mnangagwa.
Your Excellency, Mr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of the East African Community and Co-Chair of this summit. Your Excellency, Dr. Samia Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania and Chairperson of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation. Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government from our regional bodies, Honorable Ministers who are here, the SADC Executive Secretary, His Excellency Elias Magosi, the EAC Secretary General, His Excellency Mrs. Veronica Ndua, comrades and friends. It is my distinct honor and privilege to make these remarks of welcome to this historic gathering. Firstly, may I express heartfelt gratitude to you, my dear sister and colleague, Your Excellency, President Dr. Samia Hassan, along with the government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania, for the warm welcome and gracious hospitality extended to my delegation since our arrival in this beautiful city of Dar es Salaam.
C'est un honneur pour moi de faire quelques remarques pour ce sommet. Je remercie vivement la Tanzanie de nous avoir accueillis chaleureusement.
For agreeing to meet at short notice. Equally, our respective secretariats, senior officials and Council of Ministers are commended for their diligent work in preparation for this joint summit.
Nous remercions aussi le secrétariat pour ses travaux
for our discussions today.
Importants, express.
On behalf of SADC, the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and indeed on my own behalf, to once again convey heartfelt condolences and deepest sympathies to the member states and families of the brave peacekeepers who lost their lives in the service.
Le Zimbabwe adresse ses condoléances aux familles des casques bleus qui sont tombés, qui sont morts. Ils les appellent les gardiens de la paix.
That has resulted from the increased insecurity and insurgency in Eastern DRC. Our prayers continue to be made for the affected families and the communities. Your Excellencies, this historic summit of our two regional blocs is testament to our shared commitment
Ce
to the
sommet
founding values of the African
entre
Union.
nos deux blocs,
Such
c'est
joint
un
initiatives
testament
must see us scale up
pour nous
bold and decisive actions to silence the guns on our continent, but most immediately implement lasting solution to the escalating conflict and humanitarian crisis in the Eastern DRC. Undoubtedly,
nous devons
ongoing
trouver,
instability,
implémenter une solution durable.
and the ever-increasing number of internally displaced persons in the Eastern DRC has far-reaching consequences, not only for the people of DRC alone, but also for our regions and the African continent as a whole. The unity, solidarity, and unbreakable bonds of the peoples of the continent must stand the test of such trying times as we face. We must remain as solidly united
Nous devons
as we were
demeurer solidement
during the struggle
unis
for complete emancipation and independence of Africa from colonialism. We thus have a duty and a collective responsibility
devons
to comprehensively
nous définir comme
frankly
une Afrique indépendante
tackle
du
and address the
colonialisme.
various challenges that are impending the realization of peace and security for the people of Eastern DRC. Drawing from our rich African values and heritage, and further emboldened by the spirit and letter of the United Nations Charter, the constitutive act of the African Union, as well as the treaties of both SADC and the EAC, let us seize this opportunity to ensure convergence and a coordinated response which is mutually reinforcing towards one common objective. I thus challenge all of us
Profitons
to
de
approach
cette
the agenda
opportunité, de
before
cette
us
occasion pour
with openness,
arriver à une convergence
honesty,
des objectifs,
flexibility, and commitment to building a lasting peace for Mother Africa.
une paix
The
durable pour
all-encompassing interests of the
notre
people
mère
of the
Afrique.
DRC must be at the core of our deliberations. Let us do much more to realize sustainable peace in our sister republic of the DRC, in our lifetime.
Déployons tous nos efforts pour restaurer
Today,
la paix, la sécurité
SADC
dans notre
notes
République
and
sœur
acknowledges the progress made
du Congo,
under the
RDC.
Rwanda and Nairobi processes, aimed at silencing the guns, as well as facilitating dialogue among all parties to the conflict. This summit, therefore,
Il fait
should
allusion
lead us
au
forward
processus
towards
de
a
Nairobi.
concrete roadmap to help resolve
Je rappelle que le
the
processus de
ongoing
Nairobi,
crisis.
c'est de ne faire aucune différence
As
des
the
groupes
leaders
armés,
entrusted to nature
y
and
compris le
facilitate
M23, que
unity,
tous, ils doivent déposer les armes.
peace and development in this era, we cannot let the peoples of our regions down. Their hope is in us here. The SADC bloc remains unwavering and committed to continue playing its part. With these remarks, I wish the summit fruitful deliberations. I thank you. Asante sana, Tatenda.
Voilà, je ne l'ai pas entendu parler du processus de Luanda, mais il parle du processus de Nairobi.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Emerson Dambuzom
Il a
Mnangagwa,
été plus
President
bref que
of the Republic
le
of
président
Zimbabwe
Ruto
and Chairperson of the Southern African
Tanzanie.
Development Community. We are getting to the end of the official opening ceremony. May I please request that we have 2 rounds of applause for our co-chairpersons for those statements. Thank you. This marks the end of the official opening ceremony, which was
Merci,
open
ça
to
c'est
the
la fin
media
de
and the invited
notre
guests.
cérémonie
At this
d'ouverture.
point, we will allow the members of the press to be excused and leave the room so that we allow their excellencies to deliberate on the agenda. The meeting is, participation is
Les
1+5. Again, we
vont
will request delegations
pouvoir
that were
délibérer
invited to the official opening but who are outside the 5 configuration to be excused.
Et nous nous excusons pour les journalistes.
As the media is exiting,
voilà, chers compatriotes, c'est terminé pour l'instant.
Thank you very much.
Ils vont maintenant se réunir pour délibérer. Nous reviendrons plus tard quand ils vont reprendre. La RDC avait déjà parlé.